Hello everybody, my name is and welcome back to Let's Play Hearts of Iron 4, the new order as Iberian Union. Let us continue on where we last left off. Apparently we have a decision to make. There's a payment for the dam, that's not a surprise. And the Cadeals are in disagreement, also not a surprise. It was a midday when Celsior entered the meeting room. Normally they wouldn't time meeting, so oddly, but Franco had requested he enter once he had fully collected his thoughts on the Algerian issue. And not one moment earlier or later. Sadly, what this meant was that Franco had been dedicating nearly the entire day to waiting. For whatever his counterpart finally got around to attending, he was thankful then that he showed up shortly after lunch. As expected, Celsior got to talking as soon as he closed the door behind him. I've seen everything, but I made up my mind. Algeria needs to be secured at any cost. It doesn't matter, we need to guarantee the Rotundos at home. Franco began to open his mouth to respond, but Celsior snapped at him first. Don't start about pragmatism to me, not about this. Those retardados were exiled from the homes once already. I'd rather die than let them be kicked out again, and so soon after the first time, Orange plans will guarantee them their home, and he'll make sure those Italian bastards recognize it. Franco half sighed, half grunted in annoyance. I can't fault you for being passionate about your people, but you are refusing to see the larger picture. We need peace in Algeria. A war will win them the land, maybe. But then where will you be? When they all die fighting for it. What good will that do, Celsior? Celsior started to respond, getting only perhaps half a word in before Franco interrupted him. Whatever we settle on, remember, it just needs to be unanimous. We need to look like a united front. I think we invade. I think we send the troops in. The future of Algeria. Franco was in the same room again, this time reclining the seat next to Celsior. He spared a glance at his colleague, who was more focused on the plans before them, before returning to gaze to Caduz and Marana, who seemed to more concerned with shuffling through their things. Eventually, they both prepared to present, but Kazila was mandated to go first. He spoke loud, with a boisterous tone that showed his total confidence in his plan. He didn't have any formal charts or flashy models, but he simply passed out 2 pieces of paper and a map laid out on the conference table, a map of Algeria. He detailed the situation, as he saw it, and then carefully explained how they could swipe the rest of the country from the Italians. To this end, he also explained the contents of the documents he had passed out, which were a manifest of the equipment they had required optimistically to get the job done. When Cazula finished, it was time for Maria to present his plan for Algeria. During the war planning briefing, the politician had taken the time to properly set up a presentation, though his delivery left some to be desired. He explained his plan, how working with the ENI could win Algeria, and of how to make deals situated to look desirable to them. He pointed out resources required and how best to use them. With a style utilizing as little words as possible, his side of the meeting concluded remarkably quickly. As both sides had finished their representation, the Cadeals spoke their verdict. While they both made designs to sell their plans, what the two didn't know was that the Cadeals had both already decided. They told the two in their back and forth speech style that nothing but war will help us. A stronger Franco help may improve the outcome of the crisis in Algeria. I mean, the military already loves us, and we're about 50-50. Let's arm the settlers. I mean, this all seems like we've done pretty fast, right? I think most of these are like 7-day focuses, 5 days, 5 days. Most of these don't even have events tied to them, so it actually makes the time go by even faster, as we just need to get this stuff going. So we'll do some plausible deniability, some stability and war support. So you better be prepared to actually go to war. You have 4 divisions, they have 0, so I mean, that's already looking pretty good for us, I would say. And I'm assuming the Italians are probably also call to Rome. It looks like they've also planned to go to war, so it's a good thing I mean, if they plan to go to war and we decide to be diplomatic, I feel like we would just lose. But if we're both going militaristic, I think we probably still lose, but we'll see. It's time for war, baby. Well, will we win? I mean, I hope so. Plausible deniability. It looks like will probably end up actually winning a war in Madagascar. It's a little bit hard to say right now. After that's done, let's go to a bridge to Iran, get some more military factories for you. Santa Maria hijacked by pro-democracy activists. Franco Salazar sit in a secluded briefing room, accompanied by admirals and colonels of the Iberian Navy. The mood within is grim as the admiral begins the briefing. Cadilos. 3 days ago at 1100 hours, an Iberian passenger ship known as the Santa Maria departed from the port of Caracas. Within 2 hours of our departure, contact was temporarily lost. Today, at 1400 hours, we have received a communique from the West Indies Federation, detailing their discovery surrounding the vessel. This morning, Santa Maria temporarily docked in St. Lucia, offloading 4 injured crewmen for medical attention before quickly departing once again. As the crewmen spoke only Portuguese, it was not until after departure that Santa Maria that local authorities could appropriately discern the situation on board. Cadilos. Santa Maria and our 900 occupants, including American and other foreign nationals, are currently held hostage by approximately 24 pro-democracy terrorists. The leader of the terrorists is said to be Henry Gravlo. However, we are currently attempting to confirm these claims. The Civilian Maritime Advisory has already been issued, however, our naval forces are not ready to conduct a Caribbean search. The room descends into an eerie silence as the Cadilos absorb the gravity of the situation. Quickly, Franco chimes in. If these are Americans being held hostage by these terrorists, we must contact the American government immediately. They will not stand for this, exclaims Franco. No! We should not draw attention to these terrorists. Calivo has received enough attention for his treasonous actions. We should not receive any further recognition. Honestly, I think we should ask the Americans to help us out. I don't remember this event from when we played our United States campaign. So either it's new or the Iberian AI decided to ignore the situation. I'm not sure which one it is. You know what? They have better anti-tank equipment. Why not? What do you want me to do right now? Ban the dam doesn't like that's not good. Let's add $1 million and then we'll finish one side of the plumbing. You're now content. I mean, what do you expect? You gotta get to work sometimes. You spend a little time being very happy. Now you just gotta go back to work. Okay, so we've done that. Let's go for let's go to the Black Army. Don't care. Mama Sumaya. How close are you to finishing yours? You're going to do Desert Rats. Oh, yours is going to take way longer. Which is nice for us. Verdas Anos. Iberian cinema is dominated by Spanish-made films. The large population of Spanish speakers in the country, the great size of Madrid compared to Lisbon, and the fact that Spanish studios are generally older and have higher budgets has left Portugal's film industry small and sapped to talent. This week saw a larger release of a movie filmed and produced in Portugal in over a decade, The Green Years. The film tells the story of Julio, a 19-year-old boy who moved from the country to Lisbon, feeling alleviated by the city, isolated from the distance from his parents, and anxious over his financial prospects. He began seeing a girl named Hilda, and as Julio grows increasingly stressed and paranoid, their relationship falls apart. The Green Year is critically acclaimed, already regarded as an artistic masterpiece on Iberian cinema. The Green Year centered around Julio's attempts to find a place for himself in urban society, as well as the harsh realities of everyday life. It stands in contrast to more conventional crime and action dramas. Rather than providing... Okay, I heard something in my room, but apparently it's nothing. It stands in contrast to more conventional crime and action dramas. Rather than providing the viewer with escapism, it forces the viewer to question their own lives and their own place in society at a time when the very world seems to teeter on the brink of destruction. I'm assuming that's a real film, seeing as a lot of, again, when we were playing as the United States, a lot of events focused on actual real movies that did exist. Okay, Serbia had defeated Kingdom of Serbia, which means that you are... I think independent. You're no longer National Liberation Army. Yeah, no, I think you're the... I don't actually know if you're anti-German or not. Doesn't really matter. The Americans capture Glavio. Reports have today arrived in the United States Navy that the Santa Maria has been secured. The contingent of the United States Marines aboard the USS Hermitage were successfully board the Santa Maria in the dark early hours in the morning. 7 hijackers were killed, and no civilians or crewmen who were hostages upon the ship were harmed. The other 17 hijackers were captured by the United States Navy and placed under custody. Among those captured was Henrique Galivio, who surrendered himself to Marine forces once they swiftly stormed the bridge of the ship. The United States had already agreed to extradite the Iberian hijackers to us to deal with our legal system. The Americans, after questioning Galileo, have alerted us to his intentions. The intent of the hijacking was to sail the ship to Portugal, where he intended to incite rebellion within Iberia. Should he have succeeded, he could have proven a thorn on our side. Our concerns are not dispelled, however. While this one pro-democracy rebel is now in our custody, he did not act alone. There are others within Iberia who would risk their lives to fight for the democratic cause. How dare you? You're gonna get some political power. We're basically just trying to boost our little puppet state as much as we possibly can. Okay, prepare to strike. Get some more army experience. Italy, what are you doing? I mean, you're right behind us. You're getting close. Unsurprisingly, you've taken some territory from South Africa. Mostly from the ANC. It looks like South Madagascar is going to end up winning their war. But they're going to still be in the hands of the Germans, unfortunately. So what's going on over here? We've got Milan State, the Free French, currently led by Charles de Gaulle. I think the Free French could definitely be an interesting campaign to play whenever they get a focus tree. Maybe we'll be able to claim some territory down here ourselves. I'm not too sure. It would be nice. I mean, more useless desert. I mean, I guess there's oil. Oil's usually pretty good for us. Okay, so now we got 5 more days until you're going to declare a war on them. Because we're going to attack first. The settler cavalry. The Italians have only 2 roads connected the coastal region of Algeria and to the southern regions. The road going through Gironde is near the front line and will be taken by the infantry. The road through Tourgat is deeper into the country, and your mission is to make sure the road is as much a pain as in the ass as possible for the enemy to use once the war is declared. Supply trucks have enough fuel for everyone once you travel to Cairo and back. However, remember, your focus is speed, to get to the target as quickly as possible. Weather permitting, it should take only 10 to 12 hours to reach the target. There you will set landmines and shoot at anything that moves. Truck, car, tank, helicopter, anything. As long as both roads are unusable, the Italians will have to take a 1,000-mile detour to move anything north to south. And the longer we keep blocking the Kurgat passage, the enemy can't keep all their forces on the front line. Do they have any troops yet? Still no. I mean, 4-0 is I would say, pretty good odds. All things considered. Because you are a puppet state of ours. And I think, like, 2 more days, you will be going to war. People are declaring war and defeating them in the north. You guys don't matter. So who's here? Just various fascist parties. Okay, something. Okay, that's what fell in my room. Okay, now I see it. Okay, so you now guys are at war with each other. HMR England has bested the Kingdom of England in a war. We'll kind of see how that plays out. Yeah, so you guys are now at war. No divisions against 4-5. Are you not a puppet anymore? Yeah, the Algerian war. You're probably not a puppet because otherwise it would kind of break the mod. Can I send you volunteers? I kind of doubt it. Ah, I can. How many? I can send 6. Oh, you guys are fricked. We'll send the guy with the highest attack stat. And we're then going to send volunteers. Send this guy over. I'm assuming Italy will probably send troops over to their side as well. They're colonial government, so they don't want to call in the Italians. Ostland has been defeated. So I guess after this, we now need to focus on... Yeah, let's go back to... I mean, do we care about Germany that much? Make money. We can try to back Speer. I mean, how's their war looking right now? Speer is doing... I mean, kind of okay, I think. I don't know where his original borders were. I mean, I think he's taking a little bit of territory. I mean, this guy's doing okay. He's doing fine, relatively speaking. You know, let's at least look at what our options are. And we do have some decisions here. Oh, you're a lot of options. Buy more electrical equipment. Yeah, well, don't worry about that right now. So what are these options we have up towards the north? And now Iberian saying the world could be greatly strengthened. Claim Angola and Mozambique. The United States won't like us very much. Grand banquets. We want to make the United States like us. De-emphasize our colonialism. You know what? That seems like an okay place for us to start. We'll see how that goes. Do we want to make money, or do we want to help Speer? You know what? Actually, I want to amend the Iberian Constitution first. I mean, Germany fighting each other for as long as possible probably would be the best. The German Civil War. The German Reich, once thought to last 1,000 years, was in peril. Adolf Hitler's death led the various pretenders to the throne, quickly turning Germany into a battleground. Many of our citizens, indeed most of our government, believe that the best course of action would be not to get involved. After all, Germany eating itself alive gives us a valuable opportunity to focus on our own affairs without worrying about our imminent invasion. The esteemed Cadillo, however, has other plans. Francisco Franco believes that we could potentially come out with much stronger by involving ourselves in the affairs of the Civil War, at least to a certain extent. He has proposed 2 ways we can do this, the first being to send some aid to Algerian Speer's faction, in the hopes that they may gain a powerful ally when this is all over. The second option, which Franco seems to personally prefer, is to simply sell guns and weapons to each side, making enough of a profit to fix our economic woes. It seems that to maximize efficiency, it would be in our best interest to put our effort into only one option, as we don't have the resources to stretch ourselves between the two. But surely, with the guns of the Cadillos, our intervention in German Civil War can only turn out well. What could you know what, though? The what can possibly go wrong is leading me to not want to make a choice. Because I guess we could just stay neutral. Like let's see, what are the actual options? Because I feel like we'd want to back Speer more than we want to give money to everybody, or give guns to everybody. I mean, expand reformism on the council. We give them weapons. We can get rid of the radicals. You know what? This actually is not bad. Going for send over guns. Going to measure national security. Get rid of our own radicals. This actually could be useful. If we want to go for the reformist path. I'm not too sure what the likeliness of like a coup actually is. Also, did my troops ever arrive? When did they get there? 25th of January? Oh, like 5 more days. It's always sunny in Iran. Captain Tomato de la Halia was uneasy about the Canaries. Whenever upgrades the federal government might have afforded to the old cruiser, they might not have made up for the fact that it was built to comply with the Washington Naval Treaty of 1922. Their 203mm might scare unruly natives, but they certainly would not stand up to anything the Italian Navy had to offer. Nantino tried to relax. There was little risk of an attack while in Iran, where his squadron was well under protection of the coastal batteries. The captain eyed the Portuguese landing ship 200 meters away to the right with increased anxiety, hoping that they would deliver the last batch of tanks for the Expeditionary Brigade as he would get on his way back to Gibraltar. Ironically, he thought, the LCPL was a former Italian ship, one that could tell by the design. That idiot Salazar bought it secondhand, and the seaman was sure the Cadillo had paid more for it than it was really worth. Nevertheless, had gotten the job done, and alas, Ibis was rolling out its cargo hold and onto the dock with 30 minutes, albeit in reverse. Nantino, satisfied with the job, gave the order to leave the port. My captain, the anxious engineer screamed couldn't mean anything good. He could feel it in his bones. We thought it was an error, but the Carrillo picked up on the same signal. It looks like from radar from afar. They spotted approaching blips. Shit. For a second, he was paralyzed, but the aerostatic officer's instincts got the better of him. So are you actually... Do you have troops? 4 to 5. No, still 4 to 5 to 0. The engagement. The Fiat G91s approached the Iberian flotilla at a breakneck speed. Lest the HA300s based in Murica could get there first. Amidst the initial volley of flak fire from Iran's defenses, Flight Lieutenant Lombardi had some good news to tell his men. We spotted the flagship. It looks like the NFL bastards didn't lie. Remember, hidden landing ships don't waste your bombs on. Shit, it was already too late. Maturity and Frogia were on a vector straight towards the Canaries, and the Fiat sped right past Lombardi's. Unsurprisingly, he could not reach them by radio. Technical difficulties, my ass. Once they returned from the raid, he could get them court-martialed. Their insubordination would cost them the entire operation. Struggling to keep his composure, General Santino was fixated on the black puffs that perpetually missed their targets, if ever so slightly. By now, the 203mm had been aimed, but the plane's approach was too difficult to... 2 of them were breaking off. The captain threw himself at the cruiser's intercom, virtually stapling his hand to the talk button while holding his binoculars with the other. Gunnery Officer Perez, range shot at 200 meters, steady. Elevation 36, steady. He could spot the muzzle flashes from the Italian 20mm cannons, and soon the ship hull was taking their lead. It was inaccurate at the range, but it might make a lesser captain make his keep his head down. No, not him. Not De La Hada. Now, the main batteries went off in a heat of powder. Virgo, you fucking imbecile. Lombardi cried in desperation as the airman's left wing was destroyed by shrapnel from the Canaries. Maradi managed to pull out, but sure enough, he passed over the dock at the Iberian men pad, disintegrated his plane within. A few seconds, with the formation shattered and the Iberian startled, Lombardi had no choice. Not to, I guess, like, the Italians are kind of being, like, assholes. I mean, I did start the war, technically. But, like, don't worry about it too much. So, I mean, our troops are making some progress in Algeria. I mean, I'm just going to put all my units, you know, on the coast. Because, like, why? I'm sure all of this territory down here means nothing. And our 6th divisions have arrived. Of course, we'll throw all 6 divisions right here. Their only job is to move their way towards the border. You can see the Italians have helped them out. I don't know with how many troops, though. Get our troops to the front line as fast as possible. Who's new tariffs? We can raise salary. I mean, they're still content. And them being content's fine by me. Political power, conservative democracy. Standby claims. You know, let's hold exquisite banquets. I'm sure that'll be okay for us. We're still at about 50-50 split. And our units are now in position. Salazar pushes involvement in the South Africa War. With the high government offices of Madrid, yet another disagreement erupts between the Caudillos. Following the outbreak of the South African War, the German-American spheres have thrown their weight behind the factions of the Boer Republic and the invading of South Africa. As the conflict drags on, concerns within Iberia grow as the German-backed African powers may soon overrun the dominion of South Africa, creating a dominance of the German sphere within Central and South Africa. The United States has grown increasingly involved in the conflict, with growing American forces being committed to South Africa to prop up the Dominion government. Salazar argues to an unconvinced Franco that the Iberian nation would benefit greatly through intervention in South Africa, while the front lines of this conflict are far from home, since the Dominion of South Africa against the Germans and the Boers could provide barrier for further expansion of German influence on the African continent. Furthermore, Salazar argues that within a continental rift with the rise of new nations, significant power and influence over the well-established states such as South Africa could prove an essential strategic stepping stone in the expansion and maintenance of the Iberian influence globally. The Caudillos have yet to come across a formal agreement required for any official action to take place. Salazar is unrelenting in his proposals, believing firmly in the necessity of the Iberian intervention in South Africa. If either of the Caudillos is to be moved to his opinion, it is not likely to be Salazar. I mean, how's South Africa doing? Badly, to say the least. Okay, is there any more options we have? Finnish military government steps down. Oh no, the game's... No, stop the game. Okay, so Finland has now become a republic. Our troops are still moving into Algeria here. You kind of move around like that. That seems decent enough. So frankly, strongly agrees to Salazar's South African proposal. Following a steadfast salience of the proposed agreements made by Salazar, Caudillo Franco has finally come to an agreement with his counterpart. Following the American intervention in the Santa Maria affair, when the American Marines secured the terrorist leader Henry Galivo, as well as ensuring the safety of 900 hostages, Franco feels indebted to the Americans, agrees with Salazar that the Americans deserve steadfast support in their South African intervention, and that Iberia should do all in its capacity to ensure that they do not stand alone in combating German influence in Africa. The Caudillos immediately prepare for the necessary measures to commence in planning operations. Franco swiftly agrees for an emergent meeting with the military high command, as Salazar calls for arrangements to be made with the foreign military to begin diplomatic engagement with the Americans and South Africans concerning the war. The cogs of the Iberian diplomatic machine begin turning. So how about the Americans? Salazar is once again in charge because he got a lot of support from the military. How much support from the military? I don't know, actually. I mean, it's gotten a little bit more here, but that's... I guess maybe because of foreign leaders? I'm really not too sure. A letter from Algeria. Dear Carmen, we arrived in this country only a few short weeks ago, and I'm already counting the time before we are rotated out. Some of the older men here have shared stories they've heard from the Biff War, or from the Riff War. The oppressive heat, the constant threat of fighting a foe that seemed to disappear like ghosts in desert sands, where likely the Italians don't seem half as skilled as the ruffians the Legion had fought so long ago. We are continuously on the move, watching the emptiness of any signs of FLN or Italian activity. Combat comes almost as relief when after days of patrolling the desert, but the worst happens when we are fighting alongside our Pinot Noir allies. While they may be able soldiers, brutality, the treatment of those unlikely to fall enough into captivity is something that I'll never be able to forget. I look forward to the day when I can leave this blasted desert. Our unit is supposed to be rotated within 6 weeks at most, hopefully, in time for our anniversary. We will be on the offensive soon, and I will not be able to write you for some time. I promise to do everything in my power to ensure that I won't be home, that I'll make it home in one piece. Please don't worry too much about me, as if you won't, I will take care of myself and look forward to the day I'm able to be with you again. But I think with that, it's going to be a good time for us to end this episode. So thanks everybody for watching as I answer. If you enjoyed, thumbs up. Not doing, thumbs down. If you want to subscribe, and goodbye.